Welcome back to our channel. This is our recap for the anime, Sword of the Demon Hunter. If you enjoy my recaps, please think about subscribing. In the last episode, we saw Jintar reassures her that he will return someday, with the village fading into the distance behind him. Jintar reflects on the demon's unsettling contentment in fulfilling its grim purpose. Steeling himself for the long and arduous journey ahead, he marches onward. After many years of travel, he finally arrives at a remote temple, where he meets a young girl, whom he believes to be the temple's Mika. After that, by the 1850s, Jinta, now known as Jinwoo, had built a strong reputation as a demon slayer. One day, he's summoned by a wealthy man for what seems like a major assignment. The man introduces Jinwoo to his assistant, Zenji, and tells him that if he needs any more info, Zenji's the guy to ask. After that, the man steps out, leaving the two of them alone. Zenji then greets Jinwoo politely and asks how much he's been told already. Jinwoo says the man already gave him the rundown about his precious daughter, Natsu, and how he's worried about some demon that's been lurking around lately. But apparently, there's a bit more to it. Jinwoo's actual role is going to be serving as Natsu's personal guard, because ever since she hit 13, she's been hearing some creepy voice outside her room at night. The demon keeps saying creepy stuff like, "My daughter," to me, and now she's terrified it's going to snatch her. But before Zenji could go into more detail, the door bursts open, and Natsu storms in, clearly upset and looking for Zenji. Her eyes immediately lock onto Jinwoo, and she assumes must be the bodyguard her father mentioned. But when Jinwoo tries to introduce himself, she shuts him down fast. She wants nothing to do with him, and tells him to get lost, accusing him of being some sketchy wannabe demon hunter just trying to scam her family. Zenji tries to calm her down and explains that her father searched high and low for someone legit, and that Jinwoo is the real deal. But Natsu isn't having any of it. She demands that Zenji throw him out. That night, Natsu's still wide awake, too anxious to sleep. She's convinced the demon is coming back, so Zenji decides to keep watch outside her room to help her feel safe. Jinwoo would have been the smarter choice for this, but since she basically kicked him out, Zenji's stuck taking his place. He's not exactly confident he'd be any good in a demon fight, but he promises to stay right there until morning if it helps her sleep better. Natsu really appreciates him being there, but she's still disappointed. Even Zenji seems like he doesn't totally believe her story. Her dad didn't believe her either, because why else would he hire some random wandering samurai instead of someone trusted? Zenji admits he doesn't know if her father truly believes in demons, but what he can say for sure is that the man genuinely cares about her. He wants her safe, even if they don't share blood. Right then, Natsu hears that same creepy voice again, and that damn voice makes her almost piss herself. She panics and pleads with Zenji to do something, but the second he lays eyes on the demon, he's just as shaken as she is. He tells Natsu to stay locked in her room while he tries to handle the situation himself, except he has absolutely no clue how the hell he's supposed to fight something like this. The demon then moves closer, so Zenji braces for the worst. But right before its claws reach him, the damn thing's arm flies off clean in a flash. Jinwoo then steps out of the shadows, calmly asking the demon to identify itself. But when it doesn't respond, he doesn't wait around. With one smooth, heavy strike, he cuts it clean in two. The demon collapses and vanishes into black smoke, which means for now, Natsu and Zenji are safe. Natsu instantly recognizes Jinwoo as the guy she threw out earlier, and he turns to her, asking if she still thinks he's some kind of con artist. She stares at the fading smoke and asks if the demon is really gone. But Jinwoo tells her it's not that simple. In his experience, demons don't stay dead unless they fade into white mist, so the fact that this one turned black, it's definitely coming back. The next day, Zenji formally thanks Jinwoo for saving them, and since they both know the demon's not done yet, Zenji asks him to stay another night. Jinwoo agrees without hesitation, but he has a few questions, specifically about Natsu. Ever since he heard that thing whisper, "Return my daughter to me," he's been wondering if there's something deeper going on. Zenji nods and starts explaining. Natsu's biological parents were distant relatives of the boss, but they passed away some years back. The boss took her in and raised her like she was his own. And if Jinwoo's worried she might be some sort of demon child, Zenji is quick to shut that idea down. If she were, there's no way the boss would have taken her in. His hatred for demons runs deep because his wife was killed by one, and after that, his son disappeared and was never seen again. The man's lost everything to demons, and he despises them with every part of his soul. That evening, during dinner, Natsu sits across from her father. He asks how things are going with her new bodyguard. She admits that she had her doubts about Jinwoo at first, but after what she saw last night, she's convinced that he's legit. Still, she wants to know why her father chose him, of all people. He leans back and explains that lately there have been more demon sightings around Edo town. And not just that, there's also been talk of a wandering swordsman who can kill any demon with a single blow, as long as he gets paid. Her father checked into it himself, and the rumors were true. That swordsman is Jinwoo, and he knew no one else would be better suited to protect his daughter. Natsu feels relieved, knowing her father actually believed her about the demon, because his trust means more to her than anything, and ever since he took her in, she's been genuinely happy. But even with that, it hasn't been easy. She's constantly had to deal with the cruel things people say about her behind her back, and it's worn her down. Later that evening, as planned, Zenji and Jinwoo are sitting near Natsu's room to keep watch. Out of nowhere, Natsu steps out and asks for Jinwoo's name, since she never actually let him introduce himself properly before. Now that she sees how much her father trusts him, she's decided to trust him too. Jinwoo notices right away how deeply Natsu cares about her adoptive father, Juyuzu. But honestly, it makes sense. He gave her a home when she had nowhere else to go, so of course she's grateful. While they're on the subject, Jinwoo brings up something he's been wondering about. He asks her if she knows anything about the rumors surrounding Juyuzu's missing son. But the moment he says it, Natsu snaps and says she doesn't know anything, her voice sharp and defensive. Clearly, it's not something she's ready to talk about, so Jinwoo doesn't push it. He backs off, deciding it's not worth upsetting her right now. But then, Natsu asks if it's even possible for a demon and a human to have a child, and Jinwoo tells her it is. That answer seems to shake her a bit, and she starts wondering out loud if maybe she is the daughter of that demon that's been stalking her. But Jinwoo shuts that idea down immediately. He tells her there's no way she's related to that thing. She asks him how he can be so sure, and Jinwoo explains that he's crossed paths with this demon before, so he knows what it is, and he knows it's not her mother. He then explains that demons can be born in a few different ways. Some come from two demons, others from a demon and a human. But in rarer cases, a demon doesn't need parents at all. Sometimes demons just appear. When heavy emotions, usually anger, grief, or hate, build up inside people and fester long enough, they can take shape and manifest into creatures like the one that's been haunting her. Right then, the demon shows up again, and Natsu starts to panic. But Jinwoo calmly walks toward the thing and tries talking to it, asking for its name. But it's clearly not the type that can think, let alone speak. As it lunges at him, Jinwoo smacks it clean across the face and pins it straight into the ground, like it's nothing. Zenji shouts to Jinwoo to just finish the damn thing already, but Jinwoo shakes his head and says, "There's no point, it'll just come back." Natsu, completely confused, asks why. So Jinwoo explains that this thing wasn't summoned or sent, it was born, and its birth came from her emotions. It manifested because deep down, Natsu believed that if something terrifying happened, like a demon attack, it would make her father pay more attention to her. At first, Natsu denies it. She doesn't want to believe she's responsible for all this. But as she thinks about it, every word Jinwoo says starts hitting too close to home. All she ever really wanted was to be seen as Juyuzu's real daughter. She thought if she was in danger, if she was vulnerable enough, maybe then, maybe finally, he'd treat her like family. And somehow, out of those feelings, this monster appeared. Jinwoo tells her that the only real way to get rid of the demon is to get a grip on her feelings, to face them instead of hiding behind them. Natsu says she doesn't even know how to begin doing that. So Jinwoo tells her it's not that complicated. She just needs to be honest and accept how she feels, then look him in the eye and ask him to end it. Natsu takes a moment, and in that silence, everything becomes clear. She just wanted to be loved by Juyuzu, like she mattered to him, for real. But somewhere along the way, she convinced herself that he didn't, and he never would. So she started believing that if she were in danger, maybe he'd finally see her. And now, that twisted, desperate part of her is standing right in front of her, in the shape of this thing. So in some way, this demon is her. But Zenji steps in before she gets lost in that guilt. He tells her not to let that thought get to her. Sure, the demon came from her pain, but what matters now is moving past it. He reminds her that Juyuzu does love her, more than she knows, and she loves him back just as much. But neither of them has ever been good at showing it. Zenji promises to help her work through that from now on, and hearing that finally gives her the strength to let go of the feelings that created the demon in the first place. Then, with a deep breath, Natsu tells Jinwoo to end it. And without hesitation, Jinwoo draws his blade and slices the creature clean in two. This time, it fades into a soft white mist, and that's the sign Jinwoo was waiting for. The demon won't be coming back, or so it seems. Because later that night, once Natsu is sound asleep, something unexpected happens. The demon's form starts to reappear. Jinwoo, who stayed up just in case, isn't surprised because he suspected this might happen. If the demon had been made purely from Natsu's emotions, then it should have vanished the second she let go. But it didn't. Which means someone else's pain must have been part of it too. And in this house, in this region, the only other person who ever came close to becoming a demon was Juyuzu's late wife. Then, with Natsu's feelings no longer fueling it, the demon starts to fall apart. It's struggling to keep its form together, but as it cries out for its daughter again, it doesn't call for Natsu. It calls for Suzu. That's when everything clicks. Jinwoo isn't just some wandering swordsman. He's Juyuzu's long-lost son, and this demon, it's Suzu and Jinwoo's mother. The thing is, Jinwoo doesn't really remember much about his mother from when she was alive, but even so, seeing what she became hurts him. So the only thing he can do now is set her free, to give her the peace she was never able to find on her own. The next morning, Jinwoo gets ready to leave. As he's heading out, Zenji and Natsu come to see him off and thank him one more time. But Jinwoo just waves it off, saying he's already been paid. And truth be told, this was something he needed to do anyway. Natsu tilts her head, confused. So Jinwoo explains that with age comes perspective. Looking back now, he can see things more clearly than he ever could back then. He always thought taking Suzu and running away was the right thing to do. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But he never stopped to think how that choice might have affected the people he left behind, or the world they were part of. Natsu still doesn't really get it, so Jinwoo just smiles and tells her to never take her father's kindness for granted. He then turns around and walks off, and a short moment later, Juyuzu steps outside. Zenji asks why he didn't come out sooner to say goodbye, but Juyuzu shrugs. He didn't need to, because he already knew Jinwoo would handle everything. Zenji asks how he could be so sure. Why put so much faith in a guy he barely knows? But Juyuzu simply says that it's only natural for a father to believe in his son. They still haven't figured out that Jinwoo is his son, and he doesn't plan to explain anything to them. Then he tells Zenji to quit standing around and get back to work, before he ends up demoted. Not wanting to push his luck, Zenji hurries off to his duties, leaving Juyuzu standing there alone. Right before he turns to leave, Natsu calls out to him. She asks if there's anything she can do to help around the estate. He raises an eyebrow and asks why she's suddenly offering. She says Jinwoo told her she should try to repay her father's kindness, and that gets a rare smile out of Juyuzu. It means a lot to him, to know that Jinwoo still sees him as someone worth respecting. But he gently tells her that she doesn't owe him anything, because the best thing a child can ever do for a parent is live a good, happy life. He then goes inside, leaving Natsu so happy by his words. But she still wants to help around, so she goes after him.